Alrighty fam, welcome back to another video. So we interrupted this regularly scheduled Shield Hero collab showcases that we've been doing to bring you guys the next kind of step in the, I guess the Demonic Beast kind of run-throughs that we've been doing. So we've covered the Bird and Team Building Guide, as well as then obviously the mechanics. We've covered Deer, Team Building Guide and mechanics. Now we are on to SKOLL and HATI. So I think this is one of the second most requested ones. So looking forward to doing this one for you guys, and hopefully it'll be helpful and beneficial. Without further ado, let's jump into it. So as always, we're going to run through kind of the key kind of parts of this team and how you want to build it. So we're going to have your Demonic Beast unit, which is going to be Thonar, which we'll touch on shortly. We're going to have the support unit or the Ignite dealer with her. Then we'll have a support unit, then you have the damage dealer. So as always, so let's get stuck into it. So first things first, Red Thonar is your dogs unit. It's kind of just, it is what it is. Basically, the way her passive works is every time you do damage with 3 times, you get an attack related, you get increase attack damage by 30% and you increase attack related stats by 40%, right? So basically, and then her Holy Relic is basically increase HP related stats and fills allies move gauge whenever you use one of her abilities. So hopefully you guys have her Holy Relic, because we did get a free Holy Relic from Thonar. From the dogs. However, no stress if you don't. This is obviously going to be the first one you get, but for now, just using her is enough. I want to have Tamil Link on her because she is the one I will be doing the least amount of damage with, usually, and is the one I don't want to die because she basically holds the whole team together and keeps the glue of the team together. So, Tamil Link on her. Gear set. I actually run attack because I want her to be able to do some damage because, like, this card, not that one, this one is very weak. So I want her to be able to actually do some damage with it, because if you don't proc either of her passives. Then I actually have crit resistance, because getting crit on the dogs can actually hurt Thonar a hell of a lot. You can run attack defense here like you do with the other demonic beasts. This was just what I did originally, and I think it was kind of the most effective for just keeping her alive. Getting crit on Thonar hurts a lot. So that's the first setup for her. Next, like I was saying, you want something to deal with ignites. Once you get past the first floor, the dogs will just basically continuously ignite you, which is very, very gross. So my least favorite is Skadi. I've seen a few people use Skadi because you decrease attack and defense and you do more damage when she has more debuffs, which is obviously the ignites that get applied. I just feel so weak and so glass cannony with this. I don't feel like I can tank any damage at all, so I don't use Skadi. Skadi would be my least favorite recommendation. The next step is basically you just want to use someone that can cancel out ignites, right? So you can use Green Melascula. Green Melascula again is not my favorite choice, but you can run Green Melascula if you're going to be running a demon team, which we will touch on shortly. It's not super effective, but it does work. And then by far my absolute favorite, which I think is everyone should be running and everyone should know by now, is going to be this man here, Freya. Freya is just so strong. The cleave card does a lot of damage. The death damage is great for bypassing damage caps. And he makes you immune to ignite, and he actually helps your allies with basic stats as well. So I can't probably recommend Freya enough. Freya is always my choice here pretty much. And as always, I always give him my Owl Link so he does more damage with his cleave card because he won't be critting. So this is basically my choice. Like I said, you can use the other two, but that's really what I use. There is a slight potential argument to be made if you want to run humans. And if you're running humans, you can either run Zenari for the cleanse, or you can also run like one of the other support units, like maybe, hold on, let's do this. Like you could maybe do Heart Yuri because you get the basic stat increase, or you could just run all out damage with this, like Arthur, Escanor, Roxy. I don't like doing that. I feel like it's way too inconsistent and you're just a massive glass cannon at that point. So I think Freya is by far the best choice here. My Freya is on attack crit. It's always the way I'd recommend running him because the cleave card does more damage when more crit damage you have, right? So that's the second choice. Now, this choice again is kind of a bit of an interesting one. You can use it as, if you're struggling to stay alive, you can use it as a support slot. And then it also depends on how you're building out your team. So one of my favorite teams to build out would probably be a Ragnarok team with Tyr, Freya, and then you can even use the other Freya. And then you can also use, where is it? Where is she? Where is she? The red version of, oh, there she is. You can use Magelda. So let me explain. So basically you have the support. This is like your wild card slot, right? So your wildcard slot will depend obviously on the team you're building. Like I said, if you're building a Ragnarok team, you can use a support through running Magelda. Magelda will have a nice cleanse, which will also heal you, right? Because her thing is basically whoever have debuff removed will heal 20% of max HP. So that's very nice for healing up and getting rid of like the recovery disables and the ignites and stuff and the bleeds and stuff that do get applied by, I think it's HATI, the black dog. So like that's really helpful if you are struggling to stay alive. If you do just want to go all out damage, I love running like Freya for this. The flood card does heaps of damage. Again, the abyss card is really nice for getting past damage caps and stuff like that if you do need to use it. So that's what I'd probably run in terms of that side of things. And then again, it also depends on your damage dealer as well, right? So for a while there, you can even just use, he's the solution to all things, right? But you can use this melee as one of your damage dealers and like as a support. Anyway, there's a couple of options. So let's say I picked this Freya, right? Let's go with this Freya. I'll do her. This is just going to be any sort of high level alt you have, so high level associate unit you can use. And then we have the damage unit. Now this is probably the one I should have started with before, well, the one I should have done before I got into the wildcard unit. This is kind of, yeah, you basically just want a heavy hitter, right? Like I said, my favorite is Tyr. And I usually just run him with Sariel Link, so he crits, right? And then this way what I do is I actually have a full Ragnarok team. So this is a Ragnarok unit, and then Unknown, and Ragnarok. And I do have Freya's Holy Relic as well, which really helps me here. So it means that basically I get basic stat increases and single target damage increases. So this is probably the team I use to like basically speed run through it. I have lots of damage from these two. I have good damage from Freya plus damage cap, and then this is my support unit. Again, if I was kind of struggling with how much damage, or with like surviving, what I would probably do is I'd probably swap this around, and I'd probably do Red Magelda to keep in form with this Ragnarok team. But you can also run any sort of unknowns, right? So if you've got the new unknowns with like maybe Fatoria and stuff, she could also be quite strong as well. You could run a taunt with Albedo if you want to keep the pressure off Thonar. So this one really is a bit of an interesting kind of in between, right? So it also depends on your damage dealer. So damage dealer, again, you can't really go wrong with the ultimate Escanor. And then what I do is I'd run this Merlin, so you get the additional crit chance. And then in this slot, I would probably run, where is she? Roxy, right? So you're just dishing out lots and lots of damage here. So again, this is to do with just trying to bypass damage caps. Again, a little bit more risky because you don't really necessarily have a heal in this regard, right? So having a heal is also very, very helpful. I mean, obviously, a very, very simple choice for the support slot unit is Liz. Liz will just be so strong. Like if you have these three, you're kind of going to permanently stay alive. Then this final slot, you can run any sort of high-level damage dealer. You could definitely run melee, but I probably wouldn't recommend it just because you don't have any support in the sense of this Liz isn't counted as a sin, and there's no demons on the field as well, right? So the one ultimate Escanor is good, Tyr is good. What else have you got? That you probably wouldn't really run that Escanor. You could, if you turn this whole thing into a human team, because this is the benefit of having this Thonar as well, is you do have a human. So if you really want to, you can do Escanor, and then in the support slot, what you'd probably run is, where is she? Is Zaneri, yeah, with her Holy Relic, right? Because you can cleanse the debuffs, heal your units, and increase basic stats. But again, you are still going to get hit with the Ignite, so you're trying to basically bypass you're losing out on the Ignite removal there. So yeah, like it really does depend, right? Like the other options, again, you could run melee, you could run Demon King. If you're running Demon King, you could run a full setup of Demon King in terms of you could run Demon King, you could run melee, you could run Melascula in this slot, and then you have 3 demons, which will help melee with his stance cancel as well, right? So he does have a stance cancel, which I forgot when I did my demon runs. So like there's lots of different things you can run in this slots. In terms of obviously equipment, I would run attack crit on obviously your damage dealer, and then on your support unit you can have HP defense. It just depends on what's in that support slot. You can, giant wise, I don't really love running giants, but you could run giants if you want. Removing buffs is quite helpful with Skadi, so you can always put Skadi in this slot, so if you do get any debuffs that aren't ignites, she'll work well as well. You can run her with Freya. So basically it's like kind of figuring out what combo works well for you, right, and what you've got built up. No one really on the fairies you'd recommend running. Goddesses I wouldn't really recommend running. You could, but I don't really recommend. There's nothing really here that's worth it to run. Unknowns are always very, very strong. You could obviously run Gelder as well. Gelder's a very, very strong unit. So basically, as long as you can, these two are the key ones, right? So you have your Demonic Beast unit, which uses Thonar. I got her on attack crit resistance with Tarmiel Link to keep her alive. You then have something to deal with the ignites, whether it's Skadi, whether it's a cleanse unit, whether it's Melascula. Again, my favorite by far is Freya, just because they're consistently, you're not going to have any ignites, you're going to have the death damage, etc, etc. Then you have your two slots where it's okay, you want a big heavy damage dealer hitter, and then you want a wild card slot. So this is like a support unit like LR Liz if you're struggling to survive. This is an additional damage to support your damage dealer. So if I'm running SKOLL, maybe Roxy is a good choice here. Or maybe if I'm running Demon, DK Melee, then I'm going to put like a Demon or a Sin here as well instead, right? Or if I'm running Tier, I'm going to put like, another Ragnarok or Unknown unit here, and then I can run. So like the opportunities really are kind of endless in this part. The main part is just getting these two sorted, right? So that's mostly the teams. You can run what you want. Like I said, my favorite is honestly probably this team, just because I find it to be very, very quick in terms of running it through. But to be fair, it has been a while since I have done the dogs, so there might be a different team or something that we can use. So attack crit, attack crit, attack crit on everyone, attack crit resistance, HP defense on Liz, attack crit on those two, and then HP defense. So that would be kind of like, this is my favorite team to run. And the card set is this one. This one is key for any sort of consistency in the dogs, which we'll get into when we get into the mechanics of the dogs. But basically, you want to be immune to freeze. This is the big thing. So basically, you get a basic stat increase, which is awesome, and then you'll become, when you have full ult gauge, you become immune to freeze. Now, the dog will randomly freeze one of your units, I think after floor 2, floor 3, something like that. Can't quite remember. Either floor 2 or floor 3, you just basically get instantly frozen. So you can pretty much get through to floor 2 without, like, and finish floor 2 without having this card set, but to consistently get through floor 3 is very difficult without this card set. It requires a lot of RNG, a lot of resetting, and it's just honestly not really worth my time. Well, not really worth your time, in my opinion, is what I'm trying to say. So this is what I'd recommend. It is definitely as your card set. You can use other card sets, but I would just recommend getting the deer and then picking up the melee card from the Fight Festival. It's just worth it. So this is our team. So this is what we're going to rock. Like I said, you can interchange these two. These two I think are pretty straightforward, pretty firmed in terms of what you want to be choosing. But yeah, these two are obviously very, very flexible. Again, look, there are different teams out there that will absolutely, you can just power through this. You can run full humans. You can run, full unknowns. You can run, like, there's definitely teams that can power through this without these two as guaranteed characters. But I would guess that if you're watching this video, then you're probably maybe not struggling, but maybe you just got ideas for different teams, or maybe you can't quite beat it yet. So for everyone watching, there's definitely teams you can run where you don't need this, but this is probably the most reliable setup. Again, if you don't have this and like you want to run something, you can also run some sort of healer or something as well. So this is going to be the setup, and this is going to be my recommendations for dogs, guys. So don't worry, very soon we will be jumping in and we'll be doing a run. I will probably run something similar to this team just to keep it different and interesting compared to the other teams we've been running. But I hope that helps. And as always, thank you guys for watching. If you like the content, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will catch you guys in the next one. Cheers.